Picture a single patch of farmland in northern Bangladesh, no bigger than a football field. You could walk across it in under a minute. A farmer grew his crops here, season after season, on soil that held a highly unusual legal distinction. Until a summer night in 2015, this specific patch of dirt was a piece of India. This piece of India sat completely surrounded by Bangladesh. Zoom out, that Bangladeshi territory was surrounded by India. Zoom out again, that Indian territory was enclosed within Bangladesh. India inside Bangladesh, inside India, inside Bangladesh. 4 border layers, creating the world's only third-order enclave. That single field was called Dahala Khagrabari, and it was the most extreme symptom of a massive territorial knot, a tangle of more than 160 separate, fragmented borders scattered along this frontier. How does a simple field get buried 3 borders deep? And what happens to the tens of thousands of human beings trapped inside a broken geography? To understand the origin of those fragments, we have to go back to the early 18th century, centuries before a modern India or Bangladesh existed. 2 regional powers controlled this corner of Bengal. There was the proud Kingdom of Cooch Behar, pressing directly against the expanding reach of the Mughal Empire. The 2 powers fought, and around 1713 they reached a settlement. Legend says rival kings used whole settlements as stakes in chess matches, wagering entire villages on the turn of a hand. Whether or not they actually gambled away the land, the historical result was the same. The 1713 settlement left a chaotic patchwork of villages. Some were loyal to Cooch Behar, others to the Mughals, scattered among one another with no clean boundary line between them. For a couple of centuries, this barely mattered. People farmed their crops and paid taxes to whichever ruler claimed them. The exact location of an invisible political line meant almost nothing to daily life. Then came 1947. The British Empire withdrew from the subcontinent, violently severing the land into 2 separate nations. A British lawyer named Cyril Radcliffe was handed a massive assignment: draw a 4,000-kilometer border separating Hindu and Muslim majorities, and do it in just 5 weeks. This pre-partition map shows the scale. Radcliffe had never set foot in India. He worked from maps like this and outdated 1931 census data. When he drew his line, that sweeping penstroke ignored the complex patchwork left by Cooch Behar and the Mughals. The consequence was immediate. Villages that had aligned with Cooch Behar joined India and were instantly marooned deep inside East Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh. The reverse was true for Bangladeshi enclaves stranded in India. A stroke of a pen in 1947 transformed a harmless historical accident into a hard, uncompromising international boundary. Down on the ground, away from the maps, this created a population of tens of thousands of people known as the Chitmahal Bashi, the people of the enclaves. They were caught in an impossible legal paradox. Imagine waking up in a village that legally belonged to India. To reach an Indian hospital or school, you had to illegally cross kilometers of foreign territory without a passport or the right to be there. Neither government would build infrastructure in land buried so deeply within a foreign neighbor. The residents lived as ghost citizens. They lacked birth certificates and police protection. At night, they sat in darkness, while the surrounding foreign villages had full electricity. The frontier is laced with shifting monsoon rivers that actively swallow and deposit land on opposite banks. The ground physically refused to stay still. Everyone in Delhi and Dhaka knew this was happening, so why did both governments allow tens of thousands of people to suffer in limbo for 68 years? Sovereignty. To fix the enclaves, each country had to formally give up land. Ceding sovereign soil to a foreign nation is political suicide, and so negotiations stalled for decades. In 2015, the deadlock finally broke. India and Bangladesh ratified the Land Boundary Agreement, choosing to swap sovereign land and dissolve the border tangle for good. The arithmetic of the deal was remarkably simple. India transferred 111 enclaves to Bangladesh. Bangladesh transferred 51 enclaves to India. 162 scattered pieces of land were folded neatly into the nations that already surrounded them. At midnight on July 31st, the residents were offered a choice. They could pack up and move to remain with their original nation, or they could stay exactly where they were and take the citizenship of the country that now surrounded them. The results showed exactly where their roots were planted. Out of roughly 37,000 residents in Indian enclaves, only about 1,000 moved. The vast majority chose to stay on their ancestral farmland and become Bangladeshi citizens overnight. As for Dahala Khagrabari, that football field-sized patch of dirt, India quietly ceded it. The world's only third-order enclave ceased to exist, and the nesting dolls were unstacked. We treat borders as solid, permanent facts of geography, but the enclaves are proof that borders are just decisions made by people with pens. And with enough political will, a line that trapped thousands of people in darkness can simply be unmade.